Hey, what is going on, guys? This is going to be the first gameplay that we post for Madden 23. Obviously, this is not our game. This is Clef vs. TD Barrett that was posted on the EA channel, where they went through new things in Madden 23, some features, how the game works. I want to go into a little bit more detail, especially on a comp, like doing analysis from the comp side and showing things that you need to do that they weren't doing because they were kind of in stock coverages and, just calling for verticals often. So I want to just talk about the game. I am going to be telestrating it. So that's something I plan on doing this year. So you're going to see cover 3. You know that we spoke about attacking the seams and attacking with high points. So I want to show a situation where attacking this tight end, since that safety's not down, when you're towards the left hash, it's easier to attack the seams on the right side because the right of screen corner can't play this if you throw it up into the outside. So that's what I would do here. I'm going to pause it. Right in this situation, if you threw that up into the outside on a high point pass, that's going to be a completion. The safety in the corner cannot make that play. The user would have to be really close to this tight end in order to break this ball up or pick it off. Now, at the same time, it's great to see that this linebacker is actually going to pick this ball off. Now, Clef did not high point it, and he kind of threw it with the skill-based passing right above him. But it is good to see the linebackers animate. They can't jump, they can't get ball hawks, but they can make plays this year. So that's great to see. Here, this is another issue. You cannot call a cover 3 and leave the seam that wide open where the safety that's in the inside third controlling deep is not on the trip side. He would have to be on the trip side. I know it is on the left hash. Ideally, you want to be on the right hash when attacking that left seam because that left of screen corner could possibly make a play on that seam if you throw it too much to the outside. Okay, so you don't want to throw this to the outside. You want to just throw it up. Okay. And I think he actually manned up the linebacker on that seam pass. But you're going to see that if you don't throw this to the up and to the outside, you just throw it up. This will be a catch. Now, this wasn't a high point throw. He just threw the skill-based pass to the left, and it was still fine. But high point, that would have been a little bit further, and that left corner would have been able to make a play. So I just want to note that. Now, ideally, again, you don't really want to have your inside third safety not on the trip side. You would want to bring that left safety down, okay, and then he would be on the inside third, and your cover 3 would look like this. That would be better to defend because, yeah, the tight end can still attack with a high point pass, but you can user guard that with your linebacker, or you can convert that side to a cover 2 and turn this into a cover 3 cloud, where the cover 3 is on the trip side, cover 2, you have the deep half over the tight end. Now, this is a complete no-no with cover 3. Like, literally, you can never run a cover 3 like this where the safety is that deep and he's in the middle of the field because both seams could be open. Now, again, this is more towards the right hash. So the seam to the right, especially to an outside receiver, so like B on his compression set, he can probably play that. All right, here I'm just showing you bringing the safety down would be ideal, especially to the left side because you're on the right hash. That seam is just so easy to hit. So right here, again, you could throw a high point pass, and that's going to be really easy. The left corner is not going to make a play because you're more towards that right side. All right, and then he's doing a wheel flat combo. Now, they did change the wheels, but that actually is going to work as long as you have a flat. Okay, here I'm just showing the right corner would make a play. That seam would not be open that good. Now, if they put the tight end deep instead of the receiver on the right, it would attack the seams a little bit better. Now, look at the left side. Here you see no one is over him. That safety is too far back. That's going to be an easy high point. You could throw it up and to the left to make sure the user doesn't guard it. And then if the user does guard it, here it's a nice setup of having that wheel flat. You could throw to the Y receiver or the running back, and they're both open here against the cover 3 if the yellow does not play that side. So that's the wheel with the flat. Wheel did change. Like I said, it's more of a vertical route, but as long as you have a flat to bring the flat zone out, you can throw this as a later read. You can't really throw wheels as good quick, but you can throw it as he's cutting up the field like Clef just did. All right, so just looking here, they're showcasing the new tackle battles. I want to play the game first before I really strongly say this, but in the beta, going for the tackle battles, trying to win on offense, smashing the A button or X on PlayStation was a no-no. You were going to fumble a lot. Now, in this gameplay, the offensive player does win often, so I don't know if it was heavily changed out, for the launch build or if the defender is not actually trying to win this tackle battle. It's hard to really tell because if TD Barrett's not also pressing A to win the tackle battle, the offense will win every time. But I will say it's not worth the risk because, again, you probably are going to fumble often. It happened very often in the beta. And more than likely, it's probably still not going to be worth the risk in the launch build. All right, here, another cover 3. Again, the side that doesn't have the safety deep. So the left side, that's the safety. He cannot get to the right side and guard the seams. It's very difficult to play these stock cover 3s. You're going to have to bring them down to, like, again, this was the left hash. You want to bring them really down to the right side, especially when it's a 2x2 like this where both sides are vulnerable, and then you user guard the short side. The only time when I would recommend bringing the safety down on the short side is if it's a trip set. But here you see, I mean, that seams is literally wide open. The outside corner is not going to play it when you're on the left hash throwing to the right. If we were on the right hash, he would play that. But left hash throwing to the right, he's not going to play it. And then the safety is just nowhere to be found. He's too much to the left, and he's not down. He's not going to play. You don't even have to high point past that, obviously. Like, you could attack the seams without high pointing. High pointing just takes the user out of the picture because it throws it above his head. Also, I want to show in this play, this is a cover 2, but it looks like a cover 3. So it's an invert, okay? Clef is actually going to throw to the B receiver here and just showing the skill-based passing, throwing it to the left, which is nice, but honestly, that's a touchdown to the left receiver. Flat zones do not play, especially when they're pressed. If they don't get a good jam or if they're not backed up far, you can get over them either with the high point pass to that receiver or throwing a skill base to the left. So just showing again, look at the left receiver now. He's wide open. If you throw up and to the left on a high point to X, that's easy touchdown. Or you could skill base pass it holding left trigger to the left. And either way, that deep half is just not, he's not there. So that's good to know that if that deep half is too much to the inside or is too much down, you really are going to exploit them to the deep sidelines. So they would have to bring the safeties down into cover 2 to guard the seams, but that's going to leave the deep sidelines open. All right, here, this is going to be a man defense. Cover 2 man, he turned it into a cover 0 by curl flatting both safeties. But in a cover 2 man, it's going to be trail technique. It's going to be like you went underneath coverage. And I did talk about the fact that I do like press coverage and I do like underneath coverage in this game. But that's a linebacker on a receiver. Mike Williams is going to beat him every time. So definitely still have to look at the mismatches. You can't just play press underneath coverage when you don't have really good corners. That you will get exploited. So you're going to need speed. You're going to need good defenders if you are going to play that scheme and not have safety help over the top. Here they're showing the new coaching adjustment. Zone coverage, you can turn it from default to match. If you don't have it on match, if you call cover 3 match, cover 4 quarters, any of that stuff, it's not going to match. It's going to be like you're pretty much playing protect the sticks, I guess. It's going to be a drop zone. So in coaching adjustments, you are going to want to go to match if you actually do want them to match and play quarters like last year. Okay, so this is going to be quarters coverage. It's not going to be matched. This is default on the coaching adjustments, and they're just going to play as if it's cover 4 drop zone with 1 hook zone. Okay, again, not bringing the safeties down. Yes, the quarters safeties do play the run fits, but right here, TD Barrett made a hell of a play with his user. I don't know if he did that new evade, but if he didn't, that could have been a big play because the safeties were so far back up. So I definitely suggest you bring those safeties down as much as you can. If you do have enough time to do that, it is going to help. Now, here is a great way to use a crosser. I talked about this in the podcast. Using a crosser as a high-low, not to attack the sideline, but having a short route that if they play the crosser, you're going to hit the short route. So right there was the drag. And if they play the short route, you throw to the crosser in the middle of the field, which we will show you later. Clef does that. Okay, he's going to run verticals a lot. But here you see if the linebacker tries to take the drag away, you throw to the crosser. If he plays too much up to the crosser, you just easily take the underneath route. So that's going to be a thing you definitely want to do in this game, high-lowing the middle of the field, finding crossers and posts that deep safeties can't guard, that you can throw if the underneath coverage doesn't play it. So if they have a user, and right here's the new animation on a hit, so that's pretty cool. They're just highlighting the fact that another guy came in and hit stick. So that was dope. But yeah, so if the user defender takes away a short route, you want to have a deeper route in the middle that you can throw in between the numbers. So this was a good example of using skill-based, okay? Now also X is wide open deep to the left, which we're going to show you. But here, same type of concept, high-low with a crosser and a drag. And this time they take the drag away. And this was a tough throw. This wasn't a cover 3. This was a cover 2, okay? But he was able to throw this. If he would have threw it to the right, that would have been picked. he had to throw this to the left with skill base to make sure it went to the left, and that was the completion. But if you look at that again, this is not cover 3. It looks like cover 3. It's one of the new defensive plays. It actually is a converted cover 2. And if that left corner does not get a jam on X or is not backing up, as soon as he passes him, you could high point above his head, or you could skill base pass to the left. The deep half safety is not going to play that. All right, so you see that left receiver is wide open. As soon as he clears that left corner on a cover 2, you could throw it either high point up into the left or skill base to the left. Okay, now here I want to show you, there's no escape artist, but we did talk about, are mobile quarterbacks effective in Madden 23? This is a good situation where it is, and this is exactly what I talked about. If the defensive end wins to the outside, you can step up and then go towards that B, or really the C gap, right? And then kind of lean and go off tackle. So right there, you see Bosa wins, but the defensive tackle was crashed to the inside, and there was a lane to step up, roll out, and then you're able to throw a crosser to the sideline because you had the time. Okay, and that was that cover 2 invert play. It's a cover 2, but the safety starts off in a cover 3 single high look. If you're going to run that, you need to make sure your cloud flat defender is going to back up or bump. So in a situation like this where it's a compression set, I would advise you going with zone drops to where, he's not playing 10 or 15 yards. If he's playing 10 or 15 yards, that deep sideline is going to be too easy. That deep half, that single high is not going to get there in time. You want him to zone drop to like 25 yards at least, to where now you're going to play it, and then maybe Mabel, instead of having a hook zone, have a flat zone playing 10 yards. So having a 10 yard and a 25 yard, if you're going to play something like this where they think it's a cover 3 and it winds up being a cover 2, you need to make sure that cloud flat actually plays the deep sideline well. And we have to see if press coverage cover 2 still plays like the beta, because if so, they were getting torched so easily. Press cover 2 was no good in the beta. We got to see how it is in the regular game. Okay, so here, let's see what TD Barrett does against this dime 2-3-6. I think he's actually going to, again, do a high-low with the crosser. Both of them ran 4 verticals, like, almost all game for whatever reason. But here you can see they took away the drag, so Clef takes away the drag with his user, and then the crosser gets open. And again, this is the ideal time when you're going to want to hit the crosser, is in the middle of the field, in between the hash and the numbers, or just right by the hash. But here you see the user took away the drag. You can throw that crosser, and the deep zones, especially if they're not brought down, you can throw that where they're not going to play it. Okay, where I just press the X past the numbers is hard to hit that crosser, especially if you don't have a pull route like a tight end going deep. But in between the hash and the numbers is the perfect situation to throw that. All right, here again, now this is TD Barrett doing the same thing Clef did, and same thing I talked about in the podcast. Utilizing a mobile quarterback, someone that's decently fast, stepping up in the pocket. If that guy is looping out and they have a linebacker, I don't think that linebacker is actually blitzing. I think it's the other linebacker. But if they have a linebacker blitzing and that right side is open, where that right guard is, and that DT is getting double teamed against this 3-man line, it's going to be pretty easy to just step up, roll out up, and then take off to the outside right. And now you can start hitting routes on the run. You can only do this to the strong side of your, wherever your strong side arm is. So if you're a right-handed quarterback, you can only run to the right and throw on the run to the right. You cannot roll out to your weak side. If you roll, like right here, rolling out to the weak side, if you try to throw that, it's going to be an inaccurate pass. So he threw it away here. Now I also want to show you the lack of pass rush on a 3-man rush. And again, he's going to be able to roll out here and try to make a play. Again, you're rolling out to your strong hand to the right side. Okay? I think 4-man rushes, 5-man rushes, you're not going to be able to roll out. But these 3-man rushes, you're not going to have much time. Especially the Bills, they don't have a good pass rusher but besides Von Miller. I'm not sure who Clef has on that right side of the screen, but he's not winning at all. So it's good to see if you don't have a good pass rusher, they're not really going to win much. So here they're just highlighting the new evade concept, the new evade feature, which I haven't tried in the beta, but it kind of looks glitchy as far as what they're showing right here, where you can run right past an offensive line by holding, I think it was the right analog stick when usering. I don't know. This looks glitchy. I didn't notice anything glitchy like this in the beta. I don't know if things changed, but I think it's mainly used to stop the run. But as they showed in these clips, you can evade an offensive line with a user rush and possibly, like, I guess, turbo rush or just, user sack the quarterback, as you're seeing right here, which is a problem if that's the case. So I don't know how good evade is. That's something we have to lab as soon as we get our hands on the game. but it was something to show because they showed it. Now, nickel 2 trap is another new defensive play, and that's also going to be a, looks like a cover 3, but it winds up being a cover 2. There's going to be a lot of those in Madden 23. Again, if you're going to run things like that where it's a cover 2 but the safety is single high, you better make sure your cloud flat defender plays the sidelines deep, so you don't want to press and you want to zone drop him like 25 yards. Okay, here they're going to show trying to hit a deep crosser to the sidelines even when they have time. So Clef is going to go underneath coverage so a flat defender doesn't guard it, and he's also going to zone out his defensive lineman to where he's only sending 2 so that this pass rush does not come in. Okay, now they would need to have that tight end on the left. They would need to have someone going deep to bring that deep zone up the field to hit the deep crosser to the sideline. Again, you're going to need time, but with that tight end going on a drag to do that high-low, that outside third cornerback on the left is actually going to drift towards that crosser. Okay, so it's not going to be as easy to hit. You're not going to out-leverage him as easily, and you could click on and possibly make a play. So that's another reason why I'm saying, like, these crossers to the deep sideline aren't going to be as easy. You're going to have to really try to get it open by having someone deep to pull those deep zones back, and that's leaving another short route that you're not going to have, because that's what Clef was doing, was having a short drag with the crosser, and that was working really well to the middle of the field. It just wouldn't work really well as he gets to the deep sideline. Okay, here is the tackle battles in action. Again, I mentioned, they're going to show clips of you winning on offense. We don't know if TD Barrett right there was also trying to win. It did seem like the defense won more often, and it did seem like you fumbled a lot in the beta when trying to spam the A button to break that tackle. Again, for the launch build, it might be different, but from what we played in the beta, it was not something that you should do. You would fumble, and it's not worth it. Okay, here is Bosa, with that edge threat ability, having really strong pass rushers, especially with that ability, is going to win super quick. So it's something you have to watch out for. Edge threat could be heavy meta to start the year for when someone can get it. But it seemed like even when they didn't have edge threat, that, they were winning pretty good. Now, I do want to also showcase that left side. That left corner back was in a cover 2, and he actually bumped the left receiver. And that is going to be the way you're going to want to run cover 2. Push him to the inside, get a nice jam, and that's going to be hard to hit the sideline with the high point or with the skill-based passing. Okay, so you do want your flat zones to bump. If they're not bumping, you want to make sure they're backed up, because if they get beat deep, once that receiver passes in, it's GG. Now here's another example of a pass rush. I think Clef might have thought he was going to be in cover 2 again, and Bosa won instantly, so he just chucked it to the sideline. But this is just something to show here. Murray is a linebacker, animating. I know it was a user defender, but that's great to see. It's great to see that linebackers actually don't dumb out. They're not going to jump. They're not going to get ball hawks unless they have lurker, but they can animate. They can make plays. If that was Acrobat, that's a pick for sure. But even without Acrobat, it looked like he almost had it. Okay, another example here, cover 3, seams wide open. You cannot call a cover 3 like this, where that left safety is the inside third defender. The seams are just wide open. But TD Barrett might have found something. He might have found something that he didn't realize he found. This is a different type of cover 3. This is a cover 3 with the safety in a hook zone. And he actually matched the vertical receiver. That was cover 3 buzz show 2. That's something we need to see immediately when we get the game, to see how does that hook zone play, and did he switch his defense to match, or was that default zone drops and he still matched that seam route? We don't know, but that was great to see, because that can give us some an extra thing, an extra tool to use to possibly stop the seams or maybe even high point passing, is that specific cover 3. Now Clef really wants to attack the seams here. He motioned the running back deep. Knox is going to be wide open because the linebacker on him is going to be in a seam flat. He's going to jam him. Once he gets above the jam, again, that safety is not brought down. So this is just going to be an easy pass right here. You don't have to high point it. But again, with the user defender trying to bait you and take that away, the high point to me, as long as it still is accurate like it was in the beta, is the better option, because it makes it harder for a user defender to play. So if Murray was actually a safety that could ball hawk and he played that, like he sold out on it, even if you high pointed it, it would have been harder for him to get that. All right. Now here, Murray is going to make another play. A linebacker man-to-man on Diggs. Clef reads this. He reads that it's man-to-man. So he's just going to drag the other receivers to make it a one-on-one easy read. Diggs should win this all day. But for whatever reason, Murray bags it. And he animates and he makes a play. Again, it's not a jump. He's not jumping. He's not lurking, like getting a high jump. But he is animating, especially horizontally. And that's without any ability. He made a play, and that's how like good man coverage could be. He beat Stephon Diggs to that ball and picked off an out route. So it was a great read. You would think that Diggs would win on that, but for whatever reason, Murray won. Here is going to show, I believe, Eckler has jukebox, and I mean, I'm telling you guys, I mentioned that Barry Sanders could be an option in MUT because he has evasive. You don't really have great ball carrier moves without abilities, but as you've seen, that juke is dirty once you have jukebox or evasive. So it might be worth having on your team, and if you don't have it on your team, I advise you being on conservative. Okay, here, TD Barrett is going to be trying a back shoulder with the skill-based passing. Throwing this to the left. I don't know if he held the left trigger because it doesn't look like that ball was pushed too much to the left. When you hold left trigger and try to do skill-based passing, it really goes outside of the circle, and it really could be glitchy. And I'm pretty good at it, so I want to use it and play a little bit more in the launch build before I could do tips on it. But TD Barrett was labbing, and as you see, the defender did dumb out. Clef didn't click on to make a play. We don't know if he would have actually made a play if he did click on, but just something to note of the possibilities of skill-based passing as Clef gets a kick return touchdown. Hopefully that's not going to be really easy in Madden 23. I hate when Maddens where it's easy to get kick returns. I know that you could, work around it by, kicking it high and etc. So I want to show this corner out. Now this would be a good example of using skill-based passing with left trigger. Now this wasn't done. They didn't actually throw to this corner out. But if you would hold left trigger with skill-based passing, you could throw this outside of the circle, and having outside leverage on this. Now that tight end's not really that great, and he doesn't get great separation. But if you would have threw it to the sideline, he could have made a play. You could rack that ball. Now just throwing it just to the right like here, that would be a pick. But if you skill-based passing, holding left trigger, almost like the way I try to explain skill-based passing with left trigger is almost like if you're no-scoping in shooting games, where you're just like, you don't actually aim. You just kind of want to fling your left analog stick holding it to where you can do it quickly, where you're not actually like trying to aim it and do it. You have to be quick with it. If you get good with it, corner routes isolated to the sideline are a route that I really, really like with skill-based passing. And again, I need to lab it a little bit more at launch. And I know a lot of you guys are skeptical to use skill-based passing, but it can be very glitchy. It can be very tough. And I think I'm going to be pretty good at it. And if I find really glitchy things with it, of course I'm going to showcase it and share it inside our Madden Daily Premium membership. So this was me showcasing gameplay for Madden 23, watching Clef and TD Barrett play. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the Telestrations. Let me know in the comments below if you have any feedback on this video. I do plan on messing with Telestrations in the future. This was just the first video inside our free Madden Daily membership. There's going to be a lot more to come. We're going to try to be posting exclusive stuff daily, definitely weekly, in our free membership. So I think it is going to be something that you guys will really like. And of course, we are going to have advanced, like our best stuff, schemes, all the glitchy things inside our premium membership. But we still want to help out everyone, even if you're not paying for our premium membership, we still want to help out in our free Madden Daily membership. So we hope you guys enjoyed a video like this. It's lights. Later, guys.